Is the Figarland Garling agenda over? Is it in the mud? Is it in the dirt after the last chapter One Piece? My answer to that is no. Oh, Christopher, how preposterous. Lord Frieza, yes? You have commentary on this one? The agenda of Figarland Garling, supposedly one of the strongest of this world, has been utterly eradicated the same way I annihilated planet Vegeta and I wiped out all those monkeys outside of a few bunch of troops. But I digress. In a strong world full of crazy creatures and insane pirates, Figarland Garling now stands among the weakest. Among the weakest? How? How many men does it take to kill one Roxy Xebec? Well, I do say it's a bit gauche to presume that Rox could be killed by Figarland Garling. But the facts are the facts. And the agenda has swayed against Figarland Garling. Despite his golden hair, he is no golden Frieza. And he lacks the luster to carry the Figarland house to fame and fortune. Christopher, I would be worried about your red hair wonder. Because if Roxy Xebec can beat Figarland Garling, what does that say about Blackbeard versus Shanks? Whoa, wait. Enough cringe. Let's breathe for a few seconds here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Ain't no way on God's green earth this changes anything about the red hair wonder. Make no mistakes, we already know that Shanks was gonna pull up to Wano country and Blackbeard wasn't there. Make no mistakes that Shanks is the only person in the story right now that has powers on par with Joy Boy. The Joy Boy. Make no mistake, Shanks is still top one. Without question, he's still the God King. Here is something we have to ask ourselves going back into the past about Figarland Garling. Figarland Garling and another Holy Knights, the black-haired baddie with the lance, riding these chocobos pulled up with a few demons. But that was the start of round two. Round one, at some point, Figarland Garling and Rox were clashing with each other. Rox saved Eris's wife, but he couldn't kill Garling because Garling obviously has the immortality factor. So even though Rox has that gnarly hockey that could do lasting damage for sure to an immortal like Garling, Garling could still regenerate and still come back. That even applies for, let's say, round two. Here are the facts of the matter, and we have to really ask ourselves these questions in earnest. Number one, very important here, is Figarland Garling at his peak powers? One. Two, does this moment in the God Valley flashback offset Figarland Garling's importance in the story, the narrative of the story that Oda is clearly setting up? And then number three, did we really expect for Roxy Xebec to lose to Figarland Garling? Let's start number three. How strong is Rox? You see, listen, I'm doing those sounds for a reason. During my live stream reaction to the chapter, we took the L, we moved on. But a lot of cats in chat, like it was JoJo's. Well, hold on. It's Rox. People would have Rox as either the strongest person or the number two strongest person of his generation. And folks love to upscale their generation for sure, that old era. Rox, as far as you know, according to Sengoku, fought against Garp and Roger at the same time, and maybe some shenanigans happened to where he lost, but ultimately speaking, it required those two to beat Rox. Now, I would argue that Roger in his prime, which is not his prime yet, Roger, I would say, is still stronger than Rox, though you could argue it's debatable, which I'm cool with that. Either for me, Rox is just as strong, weaker, or stronger, but only slightly in that direction compared to a prime, a peak power Gold D Roger, which is probably, let's say, a few years before the Odin flashback. Because you can see, let's say, the clash difference between Whitebeard and Roger in the God Valley flashback versus in the Odin flashback, where they're completely different paradigms and scales here. Rox is absolutely OD powerful. He's on Kaido's top 5 for a reason. Why would we assume that Figarland Garling could beat Rox? I don't understand that. A max power Roxy Xebec. The only cats that are like, let's say, of his stature at this point in time would be guys like Harald, where Harald fought against him to like a stalemate and a draw. So it shouldn't be any surprise at all that Garling can lose to Rox in a fight. That should be no surprise. What happened exactly, we don't know. We know that Garling ultimately was on the back foot, for sure. At the end, let's say the second round of that fight, we do see some marks and stains on Rox's face. So Rox did take some damage too from Garling and company. How much damage, we don't know. Whether it was round 1 or round 2, we don't know the details of how things played out. We can only surmise. All we know is that things in terms of power do sway in Rox's favor, but as they should. Rox obviously is one of the strongest characters in One Piece history. Garling at that point in time, I can't say he is, no. But I could say that now, because I believe that over the course of time, he's gotten stronger, and that's despite his age. So now let's get to, let's say, point number 1. Even though Garling was much younger, his physical body way better, his stamina gain, ferocity, intensity, his locked in factor, all up, given his age. But at his age now, they probably did wane. However, now that he's a 5 elder, he's probably gotten more enhancements from Emu. So I think it's safe to say that Garling is stronger now than he was back even during God Valley because of his rise in status as a commander-in-chief of the God Knights to now a 5 elder of the Holy Land. Whether he, let's say, does get the power of Saturn, or let's say a new power, some other demon or yokai, whatever we'll call it, whether it's Japanese theme, Greek theme, Aztec theme, whatever it's gonna be, he will be stronger now that Saturn's out of the picture and Garling has replaced him. And the fact of the matter is that in terms of narrative number 2, we're seeing the Holy Knights move because of Garling. Garling is one of the people that's in what I think is the most important panel in the entire final saga so far, 1121. At the end of that chapter, we get what I think are the major players, the prime movers of the final saga. And among all these prime movers, Garling is among them. In terms of narrative and story, Garling's gonna have way more importance now than he did have in God Valley, because we're no longer just talking about one instant in time. We're talking about for the fate of the world. Literally all the chips on the table in this final saga, the One Piece treasure, the final war, and so on. Garling is going to be a major player.
Damn right!
But even still, I'm gonna add 4 here. But even still, going back to, let's say, point number 3.
Nani?
Even still, there's a good chance that Garling isn't stronger than Rox now. Even after all the buffs, after all of the portrayal importance that Oda is inserting with Garling, potentially plots and machinations that go very, very deep, Garling could still be weaker than Rox now. Rox is one of the strongest people of all time. If he's either as strong, slightly weaker, or slightly stronger than a prime, a max power Gold D. Roger, the great pirate Gold D. Roger, that dude, then Garling may still not be on that level, even now. And that's okay. That is A-okay. So even after all the smack talk that this dude right here was doing at the beginning of the video, oh, this is some delicious copium, Christopher, thank you. But is it though? How many Figarland fans do you see out there saying that Figarland Garling was stronger than Rox D. Xebec? I haven't heard one. I never said it. I don't think Eric, a Christian of the Red Force podcast, said it. I don't think I've seen any person really rep the idea that Figarland Garling or even Shamrock was as strong as someone like Rox D. Xebec. The person that we stand the most by far and away is God King Shanks. And that is for legitimate, verifiable, on paper, factual reasons. He will continue to get the glaze. He is, after all, Oda's insert character. Make no mistake, we are riding with Ichiro Oda far more than any of you cats out there. That's just the facts. If you're not on Team Shanks, you're not on Team Oda. Full stop. Full stop. Shanks is him. Will he be surpassed one day? Yes, obviously. But right now, cats like Luffy and cats like BB, they're not on that level. They have to try and catch up to Shanks. Matter of fact, I'd even say that they're not even on Kaido's level yet. They need probably 3, maybe even 4 more arcs. Maybe come the end of the series, the very last arc of the series. Then we can start talking about these boys being either at Shanks' level or stronger. 3 arcs minimum. But you can't say the same thing about Garling, because no one ever saw Garling being as strong as Rox. At least I never thought that was the case. The only character, honest to God, that's thrown a big monkey wrench into all this power scaling of the past era is Harald. Oh, He is a character that's throwing a massive, titanic, 60-meter, 300-foot monkey wrench in all this. But I'm gonna save Harald for another day. I'm gonna see you guys later. Take care, stay safe, be easy, relax. Have a nice one.
See you. Bye-bye.